The way that we speak to ourselves is very important. Often we give other people greater consideration, greater grace, greater compassion than we give to ourselves, than we extend ourselves. And yet it's important to put who we are at the forefront so that we're leading with grace, compassion, gentleness. Do you ever sit and really investigate the way that you speak to yourself? Are you hard on yourself? Are your thoughts negative, replaying events that may have occurred or disappointments and setbacks? Oh, I never do the right thing. I'm an idiot. I'm so stupid for thinking that. I always make poor choices. How are you speaking to yourself? What is your inner dialogue saying? Give it some thought. Because the way that we meet ourselves becomes this external manifestation, becomes a loop within our existence, where the negativity begets negativity, begets negativity. So a negative way of meeting ourselves doesn't tend to create a positive vibration and energy and outcome. And some people might say, well, I'm hard on myself because it gives me energy and motivation. Let's peel that back. But what happens when you're hard on yourself and it's not rendering the outcome that you desire? Then you become harder on yourself that you didn't get it right, that you're still not executing it. Then that sort of spills out into all these other areas of our lives. So what happens if you begin to change your thought process? Change the way that you meet yourself. It will likely create an abundance of openings for you, shifting the energy and vibration that's within and without of you. So today on the mat, I really want us to pause and think about how we are meeting ourselves. What it is that we're saying and maybe where it comes from. Why are we speaking poorly to ourselves? Rather than feeding ourselves life, nutrients, we're feeding ourselves sort of this mental and emotional junk food, thinking that it will benefit us, a kind of reverse psychology. But there's something to be said for people who, like the old TV series with Gabrielle Union, where she would write on the Post-it note and post all these affirmations to begin to create a different reality within ourselves. There's something to be said about journaling, getting the inner out, or writing various reminders on Post-it notes, pausing to investigate our thought process, or even in the moment, oh, this sucks. Pause. Let me be with this differently. We have to practice the pause. Otherwise, we just continue on with what's called default behavior. Default unconscious behavior is just simply being on autopilot. It's like driving to the same place again and again. You're not really paying attention. You know where you're going, right? But then if you take that same route by foot, you see all the things you never saw before. Because there's more of a pause. You're stopping at the light or something catches your eye. That's that pause. When we practice the pause, we can see more clearly our thoughts and begin to shift them. This was difficult. I'm going to practice that again. Oh, I know I flew off the handle, but I'm aware now. I've reflected. Hmm, that's not how I want to be. Let me go back, address that, try again next time. Oh, I'm terrible at that. This is not something that comes naturally to me, but I want to get better at it. I'll keep practicing. Which one feels better? To beat ourselves up or to notice something and begin to shift, to meet it differently? We have to practice the pause. Otherwise, we have sort of this backpack of negativity that we're walking around with. And there's nothing about who we are that deserves such weighty, resistant negativity. It is not motivating nor inspiring to lead with a put down. We need to lead with a pickup, like a cup of coffee. How might we lead with a pickup rather than a put down? That's important. But the first thing that is required is a pause in order to reflect on what we're saying to ourselves, how we're leading, what our inner dialogue is. Then we can peel that back if we feel so inclined to determine what's underneath it, what's driving that, where we learn that from. Then how is it benefiting us? Is that truly how we want to continue to move forward in our lives? By putting ourselves down, thinking in some way it's picking ourselves up. Is that how we want to lead? And if not, what's the first step? Pause. Notice. When you pause, you notice. The first step is noticing. If we don't slow down long enough to notice, change is not just going to arrive like, oh, I want to find my perfect person. I'm never going to go outside. I want them to just knock on the door and I open it. Oh, there you are. Nope, that's not how it's going to work. We wish. If wishing made it so. If wishing made it so, we would all be on the path of all of the things. But we need to make it so. Not wish it so, but practice making it so. Practice being the so-ness that we desire by pausing. So today, I invite you, in the same way that I invite myself, to practice the pause long enough to pay attention to what it is we're thinking and how we're speaking and being on the inside, so that we can begin to practice change and live more in alignment with the pick up and where that leads us rather than the put down and where that has kept us. Life is a practice. May we begin.